All right, welcome back to that One Random Podcast. I think this is episode 15 now of our podcast. And we're going to get into this today. A little bit of a debate around Treble's boy, Donald Trump, and his recently been re-elected as 47th president? 47th president of the United States. We're at loggerheads on this one because he sees it one way, I see it another way. Let's put it this way, right? Treble is definitely a hardcore MAGA lover, yeah?
I want to believe.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I don't believe in no politicians, yeah? Right. So this isn't even a debate or left versus right or right versus left for me. As far as I'm concerned, they're all corrupt motherfuckers. That's the same in this country, here in the UK too, whether it's Tories, whether it's Labour, and some people say, well, this is worse and that's worse, but they all work for the rich and the elite, in my opinion, and don't give a damn about us. But they'll do certain things to appease us, but we're going to get into this today. So, first of all, man, talk about your night out, man. You went North London to...
Yeah, the Lexington pub. They were hosting the election night. Yeah. You know, obviously in the UK it was through till the morning. This pub was hosting CNN upstairs, BBC downstairs. There was about 500 people there. And I went with a mate who's probably a real hardcore MAGA supporter. He's, came in with the red hat and everything.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I just came straight from work. But out of the maybe 100 people in the queue, we were probably the only two conservative-minded people. Everyone in that queue was liberal. And the amount of dirty looks and disrespect they were projecting onto us was very weird. It was maybe expected, but I thought it would be a bit more balanced and a bit more neutral, especially if, liberals you'd believe are supposed to be about freedom, And we got into some serious debates in there, and it got quite emotional at times, got quite heated at times.
Let's talk about debates, like what kind of...
So in the queue to start with, people straight up was just like, you guys are probably in the wrong place. And we're like, no, we're not. This is available for everybody, so we're going to be here to watch it. But why do you support Trump? And the question ultimately came to, why are you supporting one side or the other? And the reality was a lot of people are voting Kamala or supporting the Democrats purely because they hate Trump. And to me, that's not a valid argument. That's not a reason why you should vote for one candidate because you hate the other candidate. And then, okay, fair enough, if that's your reason, why do you hate Trump? And it's just always the same recycled stuff of he's a racist, or he says he's not fit to be our president because he says some things that isn't politician scripted. And to me, that's not really a valid argument as well. When it comes to the serious issues like border control, to freedom, to liberty, to health, to food and water, and all these other big topics that should be the reason why somebody votes a candidate, nobody had anything. Funnily enough, the number one reason that people voted against Trump comes down to abortion. Like, that was the number one thing that everyone says, look, the only reason why I'm not supporting Trump is because he wants to take away abortions. And that's actually not even the case. That's actually not what Trump believes in. But Trump's saying that he wants to devolve power to the individual states and let the states decide, as a democracy should be. If the state decides that they want abortion, then they'll have it. If they don't, then the people can vote within that state. But people are so brainwashed by the media, brainwashed by the misinformation that, Trump's against me killing my baby or having an abortion. I'm not voting for that guy. And that was actually the hard line for most people as the definitive argument. But as I said, a lot of people just didn't like Trump. And yeah, it just gets heated in there. A lot of people got emotional.
I bet they did. So I remember seeing a little, because he didn't do, I know with his debate with Kamala, he didn't do very well with the abortion side of things. Because the facts that he was trying to spit out were a little bit skewy. Yeah,
what did he say?
I think, what was he saying? He was saying that, well, this is the thing, I don't know whether they are skewed. Right. So I remember, and I've got a clip of it, I'm not going to play it now, but I haven't downloaded it, I should have. But I remember seeing a clip of a governor of a certain state talking about how when a child comes out, and let's say it's defected, it's disabled, whatever it might be, that they ultimately try and convince, and this is the Planned Parenthood scandal side of things, where they convince the mother to abort the baby then, once it's born, kind of thing. And he kind of touched on that, which I thought, well, it's probably not wrong there, because I have seen a video clip where a governor has stated that. And then Kamala was kind of like, no. And then even like the, what do you call them? The hosts or the mediators?
The moderators,
whatever you want to call them, were like, there's no actual factual evidence that any state does that. But my point being is that I think that's where everyone thought he fell down with Kamala in the debate. But like when it came to economy, when it came to border control and all that stuff, which is what really matters to most Americans right now, which is the economy, the price of their groceries, how many people are coming over across the border and stuff. We've seen, I mean, if you watch a guy called Jordan Cash out in New York, and he documents everything that's going on over there. Like it's like a tsunami's come across, and I hate to use that term, but it is.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like a tsunami's come across the border. And it's not about, oh, this is racism, and people probably label me, or what I'm trying to say, what you're trying to say about that it's racist. It's not. It's whether the infrastructure of your country can handle it. Yeah, can your economy handle it? All right. It's not that they're not. It's not that people aren't saying that. It's not even here, right? It's not that people can't come across, and people can't.
Infrastructure is
if too many of them will. If you know, it's like Nigel Farage. We played that clip. Remember? A few episodes ago, where that young girl was so smug.
50,000 a year, and now we've had over 2 million in the last. Yeah, it's crazy. The numbers are crazy.
So I could see how she lost, and lost badly as well, because end of the day, every time I saw one of her rallies or her speeches, she wasn't talking about what she was going to do.
It's just anti-Trump is the number one.
And she never ever tried to dissociate herself with Biden, because she could easily turn around and say, "Well, I'm not the president. The president makes the final decision." That was his call. Under my term, though, I'm going to do X. I don't agree with what Biden did here, and I'm going to put these measures in place. And you didn't really feel people were confident. You just got Beyonce on stage, who didn't even shake her ass.
Yeah, let's not even start with those rappers selling out.
And all these people, Eminem and all that came on. And you thought, and what? That's on the basis of that, you thought you were going to win an election. No, you have to put a hard policy list of policies together that's going to sell, right? Which Trump clearly did, because he had an idea for border control, he had an idea for economy, he had, do you know what I mean? Global issues of war and stuff like that. So naturally, who are you going to vote for? But not only that, yeah, all right, he was a bit smart as well, because he aimed for men. Yeah, because obviously majority of the women probably would have voted for Kamala.
Yeah.
Because of the way they feel about him. But then what you did was underestimate how many men out there probably didn't vote in the past, and then said, enough's enough. The last 4 years, you just made my life hell. You know what? I'm voting for this guy.
It's funny. It's interesting you mentioned about the women's situation. So yeah, back to being in the queue. So we were in the queue with a bunch of lawyers, and one guy was open-minded to hearing our conversation. And, you know, he was even said at the end, you know what, you've probably opened my mind, because I never thought about it in such detail. You know, he just believes Trump's bad. He said he still believes Trump's bad, and he's not going to change his opinion on that. But he was now a bit more conscious about how little information he actually had, you know, when we started to challenge him. However, his friends on the other, or his colleagues, because, you know, he even said his colleagues, not friends in that situation. But one of the women was really upset with us because of that whole grabbing by the pussy line. And she was, you know,
tell it, because you know what? Give me details around that one, because
so he was
I haven't followed Trump. Like, I know
years ago. I think it was on the behind the scenes in the Apprentice time, when he was still a TV celebrity. He's in. I think it was in the trailer or backstage. Somebody recorded him without permission. So this is like why it would never hold up in a court of law. Somebody recorded him without his permission, and he was saying about how, you know, when you're a celebrity or when you're an A-lister, it's so easy, you know, like to get a girl, you just literally you can just grab them by the pussy. And the lawyer in the queue was like...
So was he talking to
another guy?
Another guy like that?
Yeah,
so it was a male conversation.
Well, this is why in the debate back in 2016, when this whole thing came up, you know, he was saying, you know, the argument was it's locker room talk. This is, you know, two guys talking. He didn't know that he was being recorded. This will never hold up in a court of law. There's, you know, I don't even think his face is in it. I think it's just like a voice recording. And it caused a lot of stir amongst the females basically. And obviously this woman in the queue was saying how it's a sexual crime and, you know, this is the most heinous act of all. And I will never support a man that says that, this and that. And I even said to the guy...
Let me just jump in there for 2 seconds, right? So this is where the hypocrisy and all this bullshit comes from, right? Okay, which you can't stand. And whether you're left or right, I'm going to call it, yeah? You're getting mad at an older man, how old is he now in his 80s?
He's like 74 now, yeah.
Is he somebody, he's close to him?
So this one might have been when he was like 60 or something, I guess. It was 10 years ago.
Regardless, right? Like you said, it's locker room banter between blokes, yeah? It's like when you go to the pub and you sit in the corner with your boys, you're telling dirty jokes, right? Okay, but here's my point. All these leftist liberal women are getting all upset. However, you're happy with Cardi B and who's the other one? Was it Nicki Minaj and
Megan Thee Stallion?
What's that song called? WAP.
Yeah.
WAP.
Yeah.
Where they talk about slide your card through my pussy and like
it's degenerate. It's degenerate behavior.
You yourself are prostituting yourself out, but then you women out there are supporting these women and saying it's empowering. But then you get mad when a man turns around and cracks a little joke.
Yeah, man, you tell me, right? And she was about to cry. She was like, I don't want, because like the guy that we were talking to.
Wow, serious?
Well, the woman was talking to her. There was 4 of them in total, and the one guy was talking to us, and the other 3 didn't talk to us. But then when they were overhearing our conversation, one of the women...
How old were these women?
I'm guessing in their 30s.
Okay, so
they're still young, but they're still like, because I'm 25 now, so they looked older than me, but they weren't, you know, younger, or they weren't old. I'd say probably 30s. And this one woman was like telling her colleagues, the reason why she hates Trump is because of this whole thing. And the guy we were talking was like, oh, can I tell these guys? It might be a good, interesting conversation. She's like, no, I don't want to talk to these guys. I don't want to talk to these guys, as in us. But we're like, come on, we're just here having a debate, having an open conversation. Maybe we can learn a couple of things from each other, right? That's what it should be about. And then the guy says it. Yeah, so she's talking about the whole grabbing by the pussy line, and then she jumps in and she's like, yeah, it's the most heinous act, you know, sexual assault. And, you know, she's coming from a criminal lawyer background, and she was about to cry. No joke, she was about to cry. And then we were like, okay, we hear you, but that will never get held up in a court of law because it was recorded without his permission, 1. And 2, and I said to the guy, I was like, okay, but have you never said anything incriminating, ever? And the guy was like, no, I don't think I have. You know, these guys are all university liberals and stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, he wants to believe that he's never said anything illegal. Fine. But then I said to him, okay, you talk about grabbing by the pussy being a criminal act and a very serious one. I'm not going to downplay that, right? Nobody should be just grabbing women by the pussy. Obviously not. But if you want to talk about heinous, serious, real bad stuff, what about the pedophilia rings that are predominant in both the liberal left side? You know, we're talking Hunter Biden's laptops. We're talking Epstein, you know, all of these stuff that are coming to light now. The Jimmy Savile, that's BBC, that's very left wing. That's a very serious act. That's probably the darkest one you can go to. And he was just like, I don't want to talk about that. I was like, okay, but you're going to get at us for saying, you know, we shouldn't support Trump because of a crime he's, you know, admitted on a recording. But when we want to bring up a very, very serious topic, all of a sudden you don't want to talk about it. You don't even want to, you know, maybe give your disapproval of it. Not even, it's just don't want to talk about it. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. So it's the hypocrisy in that sense as well. The double standards of Trump bad because he said a joke with his mate, and let's not include the fact that Biden's son has, you know, child pornography on his laptop. Let's not even talk about that. And the more the night progressed, I realized that most of these liberals, I'm going to call them liberals because that's probably what they is a fair word to use for them. A lot of them are misinformed. I think the left are batshit crazy, and I think if you had to choose between them, I do not want to be on the side of that. And that's probably why by the end of the night, it's Trump for the win.
I know you were happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't really care. Yeah. Like I told you already, we were going back and forth on WhatsApp about this for the last couple of days. Yeah. And it's not even about, when you are, I could say I've been a conspiracy researcher for 15 years now. Yeah, all right. And you and I are going to see the world differently from the normies. Yeah, you can debate your points with the normies and win an argument. This whole thing around Trump and stuff. You can't do that with someone like me because someone like me sees sees all the holes. Well, yeah. So although yes, he might do great things here for the economy, which he should because he's the country's leader. Border control, immigration, blah blah blah. All these things that are important to the everyday person. I'm not saying they're not important. Yeah, but you got to go to the conspiratorial side of things. And when you go to the conspiratorial side of things, remember this is a guy that's funded by a certain demographic and a certain group of individuals.
I hear that.
Who are looking to literally enslave the human race. He's partnering up with Elon Musk, who wants to put brain chips in my head, yeah, and microchips in my hand, right, and tag me like a dog, basically, all right? These are guys, same people who want to bring in CBDCs, which I've seeing a lot about now, yeah, and how this money's programmable, right, and another formal way to control us. Yeah, so, suddenly, you and me make a point on social media about something and suddenly I can't go and get my groceries from Tesco's now. Yeah, or there's certain products I can't buy anymore or for the next 3 months or something stupid like that. Do you get it?
Yeah.
These are these same people, yeah? What I also look at him, when I think of him is I can't ignore his connection to Epstein. Yeah, whether he was in on it, wasn't in on it, I can't ignore there's a connection there, right? And not only that, there's other certain things, right? So, like, when did the Epstein thing happen? It happened when it was his first term, right? When it came out.
Yeah, apparently
right?
Trump killed Epstein. That's another conspiracy.
Well, look.
Trump put the hit out.
I wouldn't put it past it. Yeah, I'm not saying that is the case. A lot of people will defend, that's why he stepped away from Epstein. Really, because, what's her name? Is it, what's the Epstein's?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
That's it. Right. I remember him at a speech on the podium, presidential podium, and he says, someone asked him like, oh, you wished Maxwell the best and hope she was okay or something. He goes, yeah. He goes, I just want to make sure she's okay. I've known her for years, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
you do realise
what she's been in trouble for. If I had a mate and that mate, there's evidence to prove that they're in, I'll be like, you ain't no mate no more, mate.
Nah,
do you know what I
that's
mean?
a bit far, innit? That's a bit extreme.
So
drug charges is one thing.
Not only that, you look at he criticizes journalists, he criticized the mainstream media as we should do. Yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. The problem is a real journalist by the name of Julian Assange. He had the powers to pardon that man. Why didn't he? So things like that I take into account as well. Right.
I completely agree.
When I make my judgment of a man, I'm not saying people should be perfect, but I've said this to you before. If you work and you're funded by evil, therefore you have adopted evil yourself into a degree. And sorry, I'm not going to buy into you. Right? It was like if you look at someone like Jeremy Corbyn here. He's now in the political wilderness. That man's never going to come back into a position of power.
Yeah.
Would he be the right man for the job? I don't know. Yeah, because some of his ideas were very much socialist.
It was a bit radical.
No, but it was very socialist as well, like free internet for everyone, which means you're going to put whatever internet company out of the business. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I understand where it was coming and it sounded all good, but we saw a clip from a woman from North Korea, do you remember, and what she said about socialism. Be careful with how you get pulled into socialism because that's how North Korea ended up in the state it is now, which is true because socialism and Marxism are just the beginning points for communism.
Basically, yeah.
Which is the corrupted version of both. So, but my point is that man speaks out a lot of truths, and that's what happens to the real politicians who are really out to make a difference, in my opinion. Personally, you look at JFK, talked about secret societies and how we need to rid our society of secret society. 2 years later, he got shot. Yeah, or shot multiple times. Yeah, and that's another thing as well. When he was in his first term, those documents around JFK should have been released by now. Why haven't they? He had the power to do that.
But he said on the Joe Rogan interview that he's good. That he has looked into the JFK files, but because there's still people alive that could be affected.
So what?
I don't know. He's look. I agree with what you're saying, and one of the big things for me was when Hillary Clinton, when he said you should be in jail, and then when he did come into power after that election, she didn't go to jail, which you could look at it from the one's perspective of it would be bad for the whole
But then I saw
states,
another clip of him paying a lot of respect.
He said it, he should have done it.
Showing a lot of respect to Hillary Clinton as well. So after he won the election, have you seen that clip?
Yeah.
Where he actually says to he goes, no, I respect her a lot. You know, she's a woman in this game. And she's done a really well. She's like 20, 30 years as a politician. I have a lot of respect for her, blah, 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 about, you know, all this sort of stuff.
But is that also
so it's
just
like
a good leader? Because when 60 million people or 50 million people vote, you don't want to do you know how much turmoil that would cause if you arrested the person that 50 million people voted for? That would be outrage. So it's very diplomatic. Well, this is the double standard.
He's
That's
technically
true.
a criminal.
Yeah, but
in the eyes of their law.
Yeah, but this is why I think Trump has won so many people over, is because he's seeming at least like a stand-up guy. You know, they've tried to kill him, they tried to arrest him, indict him, they've tried everything. The left have tried everything at him, but he's still having the moral high ground of keeping that composure.
I still think that deep state, that assassination was deep state anyway. It was fake.
Yeah, I think it was a bit suspect. But the thing is, when we look at the two candidates, I agree that the destination is the same, right? We know what the destination is. This has been written for hundreds of years now.
It's not be funny. If you're gonna,
all of that.
It's not be funny. If you're gonna assassinate someone, you're gonna assassinate.
It would get done.
Yeah, it would get done. JFK got done. One man took the fall for it.
But there was like 8 snipers all around.
There was multiple agencies that were involved in that.
I mean, the driver slowed down to make sure the job. There's
loads of things that we could go deep into.
Assassinations don't just happen; they're allowed to happen. I think that's an Ike quote. But the thing is with David Icke.
It was Ike, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing with the two candidates, though, all right, the destination might be the same in terms of the agenda, but the roads are very different, if that makes sense. So Trump, okay, we might be going to that same destination. That's fixed, but it might be a smoother road, a bit more scenic. The bus might be full of people laughing. Whereas Kamala and the Democrats is going to be fucked.
I'm not saying that, yeah. All right, okay, listen, like I told you, look, we've always said that about like the Tories and Labour, right? They're two sides of the same coin. They just go about delivering the elite's agenda in their own way or in a different way, because they have to sell you the freedom of choice.
It's an illusion.
And democracy.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is that you've got to have two parties that are going to work in different ways, but achieve the same goal ultimately. Yeah. So the everyday normie person cares about taxes, economy, employment, immigration to a degree, I suppose.
That factors into the whole economy,
all this sort of stuff, all this stuff, right? They worry about that kind of stuff,
infrastructure, right? All of it.
They don't see that, and they see, Tories do it this way, and Labour's going to do it this way. But actually, what they miss completely all the time is, hold on, what's the underlining agendas that we're seeing that are going to come to? Are both parties still going to implement that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the part where the elites come in and say, hold on, you put on this theatre on the top, but underneath you make sure this is happening.
I get that.
So and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't get excited. I understand why people are excited that he's won, etc. I understand it. We're tribal by nature. I get it all. Yeah.
You can't deny that the left is a bit more degenerate. The degeneracy from the left, and they are degenerate.
I've seen some. It depends what you class as degenerate, right?
I'll tell you what degenerate is.
Or not degenerate, not necessarily degenerate. I'm talking about like they're the same as they're both sides are nutty. Yeah, they are staunch nutcases for the people that they support, right? So if you're a Trumper or trumpet, okay, you are hardcore Trump. And when you look at a lot of these hardcore Trumps, there are some of them who, I saw some woman really like spazzing out saying, we're going to do this and we support Israel. And,
shit.
And she was doing that. She was literally behaving. I thought, how is that any different from how the left, the women on the left barking at you like a dog? Right?
But
I'm talking about the energy, right? The energy and the mindset is still the same.
But the actual intellectual of it?
You can't say...
Energy mindset, great. But what about the actual intellect, facts?
Yeah, but the left...
What is the degenerate one?
But you know why the left are going to come off always sounding a little bit more degenerate. We know that, right? Because of the belief system and the way they're being brainwashed.
Yeah.
The right have been brainwashed in a different way, which is more with the traditional values. So if you're being brainwashed chase the traditional values, and follow me. I'm the man who's going to bring it to you, and all that sort of stuff. You're going to be probably more of an aggressive prick, like some guy in a pub, right? Who's going to say, "Yeah, you got a problem, mate." You know, that kind of mindset. Where the ones on the left are going to be the nuttier ones, because obviously they're tapping into their emotions and manipulating their emotional mindset, which is coming out that way. So naturally, it's going to be they're two different sides. But what I'm saying is they're both still nutty for their own causes, like they are, but they just go about it a different way. If they were the same, then they'd all be voting for the left, wouldn't they? Or they'll all be voting for the right. Two different sides conflict because they are different values in their mindset. They have different values and different.
Yeah, but I think
the
left's value and mindset
you would,
is
because you're a hardcore Trumper and a Republican.
Even in the pub, we were just standing minding our own business by the bar, and some guy walks up to us and he stares us down, and he stares at my mate who's wearing a MAGA hat, and my mate just goes like, "What are you looking at?" And the guy goes, "You." And so now it's confrontation. I was like, okay. And he just stares us down and he goes, "You're a fucking idiot," to our face. Well, to his face. And obviously I'm just next to him like, who the fuck are you calling a fucking idiot? Like, who are you to just come up to us randomly and like say that? And the guy's wearing a beanie with a pro-Palestine, Free Palestine badge and everything. And it just got out of hand. And no Trump supporter in that pub would have gone up to a liberal and just started calling them a fucking idiot. But that is the mindset of the left of, you wear that red hat, you're a fucking idiot.
No.
We think it, but nobody in that pub.
No, you're wrong there. What happened in his first term? When he was going for during the election.
What happened?
What happened when black people turned up who were liberals at his rally? They were smacking them in the face, dude.
Who was?
Like at his rallies, at Trump's rallies.
They were smacking who in the face?
They were smacking black liberals who turned up at the rally and started heckling him and things like that.
But black liberals at the rally.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
Hold on.
We're in a pub in neutral ground.
What I'm saying is
different.
What I'm saying is that's still the same behaviour. You've got no right to smack that person. Just escort them out.
Okay, so I don't know about that specific case.
The Trump supporters that I've seen the clips, right? They're there, right? And actually, they have a democratic right to be there if they want to oppose him, if they want to, right? Okay, just like same with the left, if they want to go to Trump's thing, well, but
do they?
I'm just saying if they want to.
Who's provocative? Who's provoking it?
But what I'm saying to you, yeah, you're talking about. I'm talking about the behaviour.
Okay.
Yeah. So you went to a pub which was very much 99% liberal.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
So are you not provoking it by going to that pub that's 99% liberal?
No, because it was sold as a public viewing. It's a neutral ground. CNN upstairs, BBC downstairs.
So is his rallies though. Anyone can go. That's why they would say, "What are you, liberal or thing? Show us an ID card."
Yeah.
Like who do you support?
I can't speak on that specific case, but I can imagine it as a footballer going to a home stadium.
Like I said, I don't support either side, but I'm going to call you on the bullshit. Yeah, I have seen these guys. You see these guys turn up. There was like one guy, and he got some old guy smacked him in the face. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they twisted it a little bit because they used the quote where he says, back in the good old days, they would just beat them out of the basically like the civil rights time and all that sort of stuff. He wasn't referencing that situation, but they clipped it in that way. You and merged it together and make him look bad, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen the original clip of when he said that and what he meant by that. But they were there, and I remember them getting smacked in the face by the Trump supporters. So to say Trump's fan base isn't like that, they are. Okay,
but I think it's disproportional compared to what the left take the emotions to it.
You're telling me that's not emotional?
What?
Smacking someone in the face.
Yeah, but you're talking about one isolated case.
I'm talking about a number. There's a number of them.
Okay,
but
so are you denying then that the liberals don't get more emotional?
No, I'm just saying that. I'm saying both sides get emotional.
Okay, but
no, actually, no. I'm denying it because that just proves to me that if you're going there to exercise your democratic right to go to Trump's rally and say, you know what, I don't like you, mate. I'm going to call you out here live in your rally. I've got the right to be here and call you out and debate with you right now if I want to. And then some Trumper comes on and goes,
yeah, I don't condone violence.
Well, there you go. So
I'm not condoning the violence.
What I said they're both crazy, but the crazies are different types. That's what I'm trying to say to you. That's the best way I can describe it. Trumpers are just as crazy as
Stop
being Trump. Are just as crazy. It's just a different type of crazy. Like literally, I can't remember her name. I actually follow her on Twitter. Like we're using my phone right now to do this, but I can't bring it up. But I can't remember her name, right? She's a blonde senator, right? Okay. And I think there was Democrats in this room as well, right? And they're debating something. I can't remember what it was. And I remember her turning around, firing a shot at the other female left Democrat and saying something about her physical appearance, like her hair, her nails. I was like, that's the kind of thing that the left normally would say, yeah, but she's saying it. And then she was being interviewed by the BBC and they were obviously BBC were being negative about Trump, or what they would have been perceived as negative about Trump and trying to make Trump look bad. I think it was the BBC. And then she goes, well, you can go fuck off, can't you, back to your own country? And I'm like, you tell me that's not the kind of similar behaviour we're seeing from the left. There's
but
two
is
types
that behaviour because of retaliation?
And this is where I look at it as a neutral. You can't see it as a neutral. I see it as a neutral because you are a Trump Republican supporter.
I want to believe.
I'm not a supporter of either. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I look at things that are neutral. And when I look at it, I go, as a neutral, I say there's two types of crazy here. You got crazy left on the side, on the left here, and then you got the crazy on the right here as well. They're both crazy. As far as I'm concerned, you're all bad as each other because I've seen examples on both sides and enough evidence on both sides to say you're both nuts. But you know what? You're a different type of nuts to each other. And that's what the bit you're failing to see. And the reason you're failing to see that is because you have a bias.
That degenerate.
You're not balanced in your viewpoint. You're not balanced in your viewpoint.
I've seen the viewpoint, man. All right, so then we was talking as well with.
I get what you mean. Like, yeah, LGBTQ and stuff like that. Of course it is, but that's how they are. The fucking nut jobs. I'm not saying it's right. Yeah, that is degenerate to a degree. Yeah, right. You're talking about degenerate. I'm talking about nuts. Who's crazier? Yeah, you could say they're degenerate on the left, which they are, because who walks around naked at a parade in front of kids? Yeah, that's degeneracy itself. But I guarantee if you looked and digged hard enough, you'll find some form of degeneracy on the other side as well.
Of course, but we're talking about the actual ideology behind the movements and behind the sides. When we look at individuals, yes, of course, there's degenerates and there's craziness individually at different levels. Mm-hmm. But when we're looking at the two ideologies of the left versus the right, the left just take it a bit too far. Okay, another conversation we had with there were two, one was a physician, one's a doctor. They were young guys, maybe like my age, and the other one was still studying, but again, plans to be a doctor or something like that.
Yeah.
So without trying to be careful with the words, obviously because of YouTube, remember that straight punch to the arm? Straight. Well, what would you call it? I don't want to use that word. It begins with a J. What? 3-letter word.
A jab? Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously the YouTube algorithm is fucked.
We're fucked anyway. Come on.
So so that conversation came up.
You've got a middle-aged man, all right, and a young man who curse and call out all the bullshit.
Yeah,
so we're fucked anyway. Yeah.
Fuck it. So the jab came up, that whole conversation, and this guy had 4, and obviously his mate had 3, and I even said to the guy, I was like, oh, how come you didn't get a 4th? He's like, oh yeah, I'm from Ireland and I moved here. So I was like, oh, so, but you can still get one. He's like, yeah, when I go back to Ireland, I'm going to get it then. I was like, you do that. My mate already tapped out. Like once he heard the conversation about jab, he's like, can't talk to these people. So he already walked out. But I'm now stuck in it with 2 guys telling me that the jabs are safe and effective, that the jabs spread disease, stop the spread. And I said, okay, it's 4 winters now, yeah? Back in 2020, you guys said that if I don't take it, I'm going to die or I'm going to get seriously sick. It's 4 winters now and I'm fine. I feel great, actually. He's like, yeah, that's because all of us took it for you. I'm like, but it was proven that it doesn't spread. It doesn't come out recently, though. It's proven that you don't. It doesn't stop you from getting sick. It's proven that it doesn't stop you from catching it. And but they're very the jabs are safe and effective. mRNA technology has been in development for the last 15 years and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a synthetic polymer of nothing. It was rushed and you can't talk to these guys. So when I talk about the degeneracy and the left are more mad, this is a very serious topic I'm bringing up, right? This is something that has affected me in a more deeper way because I've seen the way society and the people I love and so on. What would you say about that particular topic and the stances that the left and right have both approached with? As an ideology, I'm not saying, because obviously this is where I'm a bit skeptical on Trump as well, because obviously he put out the Operation Warp Speed and he's very proud of the jab. But
But he went around after he lost the 2020 election, doing another tour of rallies
To get people to take it.
And let's be honest, if you like I said, if you look through the conspiratorial eyes, his masters turned around and told him, your side is not taking these damn jabs, right? And then he's like, okay, I'll get out there and start talking to him.
Key word you just said, that side,
but
the right is not taking it. So when I'm talking about the degeneracy, why are the right a bit more open to not to realizing that let's not take that, and the left are so blindly taking it? Who's more stupid then? And I use the word stupid because to me it felt like it. For somebody to say to my face, I've taken 4 jabs and I take a flu jab every year, and you're probably in mid-20s, and you think that that's the healthiest thing you can do, and the whole reason they're voting Trump, as I said, because he's a doctor, his number one reason was about abortion. He's like, the woman you have to let that my body, my choice. We should not get involved when it comes to abortion. Even though Trump said it's about the state deciding, they want it to be a federal thing. Abortion should be accessible to everybody at any time, basically. Which I get, because he was talking about, if the mother's life is at risk and blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying, yeah, but they're also just kind of encouraging it. No one's encouraging it. But if a woman wants it, they should be allowed to have it regardless of the information. Yeah, if they want it, they can get it. Their number one reason was abortion, and they are 4 jabs in. What do you say to those guys then? Because to me, that's just it's not the side I want to be a part of.
So, what was I going to say? I was listening to you, and I had actually a good point in my head. All right, okay. What would you say to them about the jab and stuff?
Ultimately, yeah.
Why would you even bother talking to them? They're not going to listen.
No, but
that's like me talking to something that a right winger, a Republican, or a Trumper, or whatever you want to call it, believes, firmly in something, yeah, right? And I talk about, I guarantee you, if I went to America and I started talking to Republicans, and I started saying to them, but what about the Epstein connection?
They might have a decent answer.
But no, because I've seen it. When I've put things up on our TikTok pages, you see the comments. Oh no, he was out, he was exposing them and blah, 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 blah. Really? Okay, all right, cool. But you wish good luck to, do you see what I'm trying to say?
All right, let me
so I could throw that argument onto the other side as well. So I get where you're coming from.
What?
Yeah,
in addition
I get where you're coming from with the whole jab thing, right? Okay.
But they were talking about, when it comes to the abortion, they're saying my body, my choice. But then when it comes to the jab, and I said to him back, I was like, is it not my body, my choice for the jab? Like, you want me to take an invasive injection? That, you're saying that a woman should have the right to choose what she does with her body, but I don't have the right to choose what I do with my body. And they actually outright to my face said no, because it's for the greater good of society. And yeah, that's when I had to tap out of the conversation. I was like, all right, it's not going to
stop recording. Oh, yes. Yeah, go on. So I thought it's recording stopped there for a second.
Yeah, and that's what I had to say to them, like, okay, good luck with you guys in it. Do what you want.
Yeah, but I would have just turned around and said to them, I go, what about all the evidence that's coming out in the news right now where people are actually the vaccine injured?
Yeah, I said that.
120 grand payouts that are going now.
Fake news.
Fake news on the BBC, ITV and all that.
They don't care, man.
So if I play you a clip now, so do you know who invented the PCR test? No? Okay, Kerry Mullis played the PCR test. He won a Nobel Prize for it because his contribution to science. Oh, right, yeah. Coach, you want me to play the clip of him explaining what PCR tests? Because I have it on my phone right now. But if they're not willing to listen, then I'm not willing to listen to anything you have to say.
But this is the ideology behind. So, as I said,
and I would turn around and argue, if you've got that right, then I've got that right to say my body, my choice.
Well, this is, and they outright said to me, no, you don't have that right because it's for the greater good of society.
Then I would say for the greater good of society is that you don't have abortion.
Yeah, but they don't believe that.
No, but it is the greater good for society because we need to keep the world populated.
But they don't believe that.
No, I don't care what you believe, you're wrong.
Oh, okay, so the left is wrong.
No, but
that's what I'm trying to say. The left is wrong.
I'm not saying that the right, left 100%. You're making it out. You're arguing.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying.
So what Treble's doing here?
On a balance.
What Treble's trying to do is make me out to be a leftist. I'm not any side. What I'm telling you, there's two types of crazy.
Yeah.
One is named Republican. One is named the Liberals, whatever you want to call them on the left, Democrats. They are two different types of crazy in their own right. Yeah. let's be honest, right?
But on a balance beam.
What happened in COVID? What happened in COVID?
Balanced.
What happened in COVID? These guys went okay. So he loses an election. I'm not saying he incited anything. Yeah, that's not even about Trump. What was their reaction?
What, to go storm
yeah. Is that not crazy? Some of them have guns.
But it was a stolen election.
Doesn't matter.
And this is the thing as well. They were like, oh, you have to respect, he doesn't respect the institutions.
Stop. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Is that the response you want? Is that not a form of crazy? But a different form of crazy.
Was it rigged though?
I don't know.
Should justice
I didn't look deep into it.
But, okay, so Trump got the most votes in US history. I think it was like 71.
Okay.
And Biden still got more.
So the reaction was to go and act crazy and go and invade.
But did you see the video?
But was it not a form of crazy?
Was it staged?
Was it a form of crazy or not?
Was it a liberal?
Was it a form of crazy or not?
But were they liberals?
Yes or no? Was it a form of crazy or not?
But who were they?
Dude, come on. These are Republican.
How do you know?
Stop the nonsense.
Do you believe the assassinations were fake?
Stop it. Stop what?
Okay.
What assassinations?
So the Trump's assassinations?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you believe that the Democrats could also pull a fake storming?
I'm not trying.
Storming the Capitol.
The fake assassination, Trump would have been in on it with his masters, the elites. Both sides would say, right, okay, Democrats, we're going to try and do this fake assassination of your so-called right-wing opposition, Trump, okay, and then you're not going to start saying it's fake, all that sort of shit. Let's drum up some drama. Either way, whichever you won, guess what? Make sure you back Israel, yeah?
And what about when the election happened?
What you talk about?
Democrats could have been like, all right,
again, stop talking to a normie. Talk to the conspiracy researcher.
Let me give you an example.
All right.
Then.
So let's base it on this, yeah. All right. Whenever I throw something at you, oh, that's conspiratorial. Oh, we don't know if that was them. Oh, no. See what I mean? You're doing what the left does. You're just doing a different angle. So what you're just saying that where they say, no, it's not your body, choice when it comes to the jab. That's for the greater good. I've just done that to you and flipped it on you about what happened on, was it January 6th, is it?
Yeah,
that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your answer is but that's a conspiracy. It was the libs, it was Democrats who were dressed up as Trumpers, and they went over there and they stormed the thing.
Could it be though?
On face value, those were Republicans that did that. They weren't happy with it.
Always take face value though. That's a very.
Hey, the people got arrested. Yeah, they said they were Trump supporters. End of story. My question to you was,
assassinating guy.
Stop trying to worm out of it. I asked you a question.
Which was?
Yeah, they were Trump supporters. They were Republicans who were not happy with the decision, who went to the White House or wherever it was and tried to storm it.
Yeah,
and actually got into the building, did they not?
And what did they do there?
Okay, stop.
Just walk around.
Is that not, I asked you a question. Is that not a form of crazy? Because your guy didn't win the election. So you thought...
It is a form of crazy.
Okay. So it's a different type of crazy, but it's still a form of crazy. Then that's what my point is. Both sides are crazy. They go around crazy, doing crazy shit in their own crazy ways.
Fucking crazy, innit?
Right? You can spin it as much as you want with how much you want to do with your your crazy right-wing mindset.
But if it was Democrat... I
don't want to... If I asked you a question, was that act crazy?
The act is crazy.
Yes.
But you're saying at face...
All right.
But you're saying on the surface...
All right. So we can say...
They're Trump supporters. But you don't know that.
How do you know it's not Republicans on the other side saying, oh, yeah, LGBTQ, let's make them... How do you know that? They haven't infiltrated the left.
What do you mean?
Don't act dumb.
That doesn't make sense.
Don't act dumb. Don't act dumb.
Repeat that.
So how do you know it's not Republicans infiltrating the left and pushing all these crazy thoughts and all these crazy...
And what would be the goal for that be?
So that the right can win.
In what way?
In the vote.
How?
In every way.
How?
How's it to make them crazy so everyone starts thinking, oh my God, those leftists are too crazy, man. We can't have them. We've got to get rid of them out of society. But it might be only a small group. But let's make it look bigger. Let's infiltrate it and make it look like there's more crazy people out there than there actually are.
Oh, that'd be a good plan then, isn't it?
There you go. So there you go. I can spin it the same way, dude.
Yeah, but there was evidence suggesting that the people that raided the Capitol were...
Okay, all right, okay.
But you've not seen that information.
No, but there's always an excuse, with you, right? Because you're a writer. Yeah, you're not balanced in this argument at all. I'm balanced. I'm looking at both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not balanced at all. And you're always going to do... And see what I mean? This is a form of crazy we're seeing from you. It's a different form of crazy, but it's still crazy.
All right. fair enough. We're both crazy, left and right.
Yeah? But I don't trust... Listen, I'll repeat again. I don't trust any of these motherfucking politicians. I don't follow none of them. Yeah? All right? Don't get me wrong. I don't even like... People I grew up watching who you thought were inspirational, now you look at me and think, fuck, man, no. Yeah? And I'm talking about celebrities, athletes, all that. I don't... now, none of them are... Let's say, you know what? Now, that's why I always say to you, my allegiance is to one, and that is God. That is it. That's what I follow. That's where my allegiance is like. It don't lie with none of these guys. Yeah, because you say, oh, they're doing this great, that great. There's Labour supporters out there, right? Even though what Labour are doing right now with this country, they're Labour supporters still saying they're great, they're the right party for the. There's two sides of every crazy, man.
But if it was on a balance beam, are you saying that it's balanced in craziness? That this is ultimately, I agree.
But you can't.
They're both crazy. But if you were to balance the ideologies,
there's no balances to it because they're two different ideologies. You can't answer that question.
But you admit that they're both on the same spectrum, right? Yeah. They're both two political parties on the same spectrum. They're two different
things. This is part of you getting. If they weren't two different things, there wouldn't be a clash. They would all get along and see each other, see things the same way. They don't. You have two opposite things. Why do they clash? Why do they clash?
Because they're all different.
Because their ideologies are different.
Yeah.
God, man, what part of that you're not getting?
But you're saying, but they are. So are you trying to say that they're not on a balance beam? It's not tilting a little bit left.
Same type of level of crazy, where they are hardcore. Oh, my ideology is the right one.
Yeah.
They go about delivering that crazy different. You're still not getting it.
No, I'm not getting it.
You're not going to get it. No point having this conversation, continuing this part of the conversation.
Fair enough.
Because you are not going to get it. And the reason you don't get it is because you have a biased, unbalanced mindset about regards to this topic, whereas I don't. I understand what I mean. If I had someone in front who understood me, yes, so if I get what you mean, man, you're right.
I kind of get what you mean.
Because I'm in the middle, I think you do get what I mean, but because you're biased towards your one side, which you have, yeah, you are not, and which is exactly what the left would do if I was talking to the left right now. They would say exactly the same thing as you're saying and what you're doing right now and what you're saying. They would have the same. What you're saying right now, don't you think that side's a little bit... A lefty, if I was talking to a lefty right now, would say, no, don't you think... Yeah, but don't you think they're a little bit more crazy? How is that balance? Don't you think they're crazier? Because if I talk to a lefty, right, would they say the Republicans are crazier than you?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
But they couldn't back it up, is the point.
Yeah, I'm sure they would say the same thing too.
Yeah, but we can have a discussion about it. As I said, like the pub.
I'd love to get you and a lefty in here and just mediate.
If it was to be mediated, I think that was the problem at the pub where it was just...
I would love to get a lefty in there and just say, all right, I'm going to mediate, right? No talking over each other and all that. I would just say, stop. You had your 5 minutes.
Yeah, that would be perfect. I think we need to do that.
I would do it that way. I would, because I'm that guy you need in that room. But you lot, it just makes me laugh. This is what I'm talking about. You're a great example of following these ideologies of these people, and not realizing who, like, you actually know that it's even worse with you because you know who these people work for.
Yeah.
It's worse with you.
I want to believe though.
You know who they work for.
We need to get back to normal,
That's the problem. That's the problem. You know who they work for.
Yeah, but it'd be worse with the left. It's been worse. The last 4 years have been absolute shit.
And that's my argument with it. There's loads of things that like I could talk about when it comes to... I'm not saying the left are exactly the same. Yeah, like things like the point I made around Julian Assange. You know, could have easily pardoned him if he's so great. Why didn't you pardon that man and say this man is not a what's the word they were using for him?
Terrorist threat? I don't know.
Something like that, weren't they? He's not that. You know, he's not a criminal. This is the kind of journalism we need in this country. I've been saying it for years. MSM are corrupt and blah, blah, blah. We need more Julian Assanges out here. I'm pardoning him. He could have done that. Didn't do it. Yeah?
Yep.
You know, these sort of things I look at, all the things that I've already talked about and listed at the beginning when we started talking at the beginning, I can't ignore the fact that who he's funded by and who supports him and funds him and essentially is going to give him his orders.
No, I know that too.
Because it's the same group of individuals who fund the other side too.
Yeah.
The way you win a war. We talk about spiritual wars, and we're in a spiritual war. There's good versus, in my opinion, there's good versus evil. There's God versus the devil. Which side are you on? I know which side I'm on, yeah, or I'm trying my best to be on and stay on because it's hard because you can get manipulated and taken down routes that you're not supposed to, but you got to check yourself as well. I was like you at your age. Check I'm old. I'm 42 now. I've seen it all. I've seen all the bullshit. I've seen all the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But probably not like you at your age. Yeah. Maybe a little bit when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
Maybe in my late teens and stuff like that. But then, like, as you get older, you start seeing, I started spotting little things as I was growing up, but I never said about it, spoke about it, because I just thought people just going to think you're crazy. And then it was only until I got to like 27 and stuff like that, then I started seeing other people out there who were talking a bit with larger voices, who were talking about these sort of things. That's when I was like, okay, so I'm not alone. Yeah, and now I'm more vocal about it than I ever have been before. But I'm not going to support either side, and I'm not going to sit here when I evaluate it and say, yeah, there are two types of crazy that you could turn around and say yes on face value. The left look crazier because their ideologies is being butt naked, walking down the street in a parade and etc. But at the same time, when you flip around, they're two different ideologies, so the crazy is going to look different.
What's the crazy on the right then? That's comparable.
I've already been through that. We already just discussed it.
So what's the opposite? What's the right doing in terms of craziness level when you're, as you said, the people on the left are walking butt naked down the streets?
It's craziness in the sense
what's
of
the right doing?
It's craziness and how hard they support their belief systems in the people that they trust.
Yeah, but the actual craziness.
What do you mean the actual craziness?
I agree. They both believe.
Well, I'm not going to go through this over and over again. We're going to be here for 2 hours talking about it. Yeah, I've already explained myself. Rewind it.
What's the craziest thing that the right are doing?
Rewind it as much as you want. They are both sides, two different types of crazy. They are crazy in the sense that they support their ideologies and ignore everything that's negative, everything that's wrong with their leaders, the leaders that they choose. Whether it's Kamala, Biden, whoever, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. You can't go around, oh no, Walker, no, don't look like that little video made of you poking fun at you about Epstein in the window. The dog's like, oh, can't see this, I don't see it. Yeah, all right. Okay, I should play that actually, what I put together. All right. That's the same on the left. They do the same thing. Yeah. Oh, Obama was a great president. What do you do? Crickets. Right?
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Crickets, right? Right? What did he do? What did he do? He's so great. What did he do great for black people? In America, crickets. That's all you hear. All right? They're all nuts, as far as I'm concerned. I think you're all fucking nuts off your head and you need to wake up. And what you shouldn't be asking for is arguing over which one of these candidates is better. You should be saying, get rid of the fucking lot of them. We need to revolutionize the political spectrum within our countries and as a global point of view. Because none of these leaders, all these leaders are paid and bought for. I don't give a shit. They all work for the same people. Bottom line, I am not going to sit here and say, oh, they're crazy in this and this, that. You're all fucking nuts. Because you're all supporting people who are funded by evil people.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody within the institution is evil. Technically.
People on the lower end of the political spectrum, right? Okay. I genuinely believe probably a lot of them who are down on that lower end of it are good people with good hearts who really want to make a difference. They're never going to get into power unless we change that. But they're never going to get power. Think about it, right? Let's go back and use Jeremy Corbyn again. He is in political wilderness. He tried, he got close. And then what happened? The people above the politicians, the elites, were like, hell no. Get this guy out of here. And they did that. And he's never going to come back.
No.
He's never going to have a resurgence. He's never going to have the opportunity to have a resurgence. It's not going to happen. But the only people that get to that level are the ones that the people above, the rich and powerful, want there. You're not going to... Look at JFK. They took that man out because the man gave a speech about secret societies. And now we need to rid our country of these secret societies.
Yeah, that was brave of him.
Yeah, and look, brave, but look what happened.
Yeah.
Pop. Yeah? Okay, you think about it this way, right? You look at like sort of Malcolm X, you look at people like Martin Luther King, you look at JFK. Bobby Kennedy. Yeah, you look at all these guys who are all being taken out. Okay? Have you really had leaders since then like that? No. Who've really gone and said, exposed in a sense, especially in terms of JFK, I would say, who exposed the deep state. And I think Abraham Lincoln was one of those as well. He also back in the day exposed, because he kicked the Rothschilds out of America when they had the first Bank of America, whatever they called it back then. And then, but the guy, they had to come back, managed to get their way back in because he needed money for his civil war against the South. But then when he tried to expose them again, what happened? Pop.
But yeah, and the person who did it was a part of that secret society.
See you later. You can look at it from both ends, right? And the thing is, right, with Trump, this is the one thing I've noticed about Trump. Trump came out of nowhere, really, right? So when you think about Trump, right, in the 80s, he kept getting asked, what did he keep getting asked? He kept getting asked, oh, will you run for president? Because a young man, he was talking about the countries back in the 80s as well, and we can do better, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, I don't think I'm ever going to go for it, blah, blah, blah. But young man, right, he's got other things, other goals in mindset at the time, right? You look at that guy. I forgot my point there now.
But he was fed up of the country being ripped off. And
yeah, no, I had a point in my head. I've just lost it. I've just lost my train of thought now because I was going to make a point that I've just lost it now. Because I just looked at the screen to see make sure it was recording still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just lost my train of thought now completely. What was I talking about?
That they're all paid for ultimately.
Yeah.
And JFK was taken out.
You look at these guys, right? Okay, and you look at JFK. JFK was taken out. Why? Because he was exposing deep state. Yeah, right. No, that was my point. Trump comes out sounding really radical and off the page kind of thing. Is because he's not gone through the training that the rest of them have. You look at Obama and all these guys. They all go through a formal training of how to carry themselves in the political world. Yeah. They do it through years of being in that world as well. Yeah, they start very low at the bottom of that political world, and then they move up, depending how agreeable they are with the people that run the show, right? And they move up, and they're trained and talk in a certain way. Trump isn't that guy. Yeah, in the 80s, he was just sitting there talking about, we could do better, blah 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 blah. So no one ever thought he's never going to go for president, right? Whatever. He's never had that training, that formal training of how to handle yourself, how to handle the media, how to say, what not to say, and all that stuff. If he had that sort of training, he'd sound like Obama on that podium. But he doesn't. He sounds raw because he's not. And he says probably things, and probably the people above him go, oh, God. Yeah? You get it? That's the way I see it. He's not had the same exposure to the political world. No, I think it's sometimes problematic for people who run the show. Do you get it? Because there's probably things he says and they're like.
But the people who run the show still want him in power because
they're still going to control him though. Yeah, they're still going to own him. It's just I just think but that helps him. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It helps him come off like he's radical, he's different. Yeah. Actually, no, he's just not had the training.
But then...
let's look at the World Economic Forum and their young leaders thing. They've had, is it Starmer in there?
Starmer, Trudeau.
Johnson. Putin.
All of them.
All of them, right?
Literally all of them.
And they all carry themselves in a certain way, right? In a political leader way, the way a political leader is supposed to look. And then you got Trump, who's had none of that. So naturally, he's going to be quite, do you get what I'm trying to say? He's going to be quite outspoken and say things in the way, the opposite to other people. And when he says it that way, people will look at him and go, yeah, that's the guy, man. Look at him. He's completely against the grain. But ultimately, still works for...
But okay, so you mentioned JFK, and one of the things that JFK was so proud of doing was keeping America fit and healthy. Mm-hmm. You know, he had that extensive physical education program in the schools. There's a video of the, when they're just on the swinging and all the guys are ripped, and a healthy America is obviously going to be a good thing. Was it you might have said the stat about how 70%, oh no, it was on the Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump, how 70% of eligible men are illegible to join the army because of their fitness. So nearly 3/4 of the country who could be of age are not able to because of their
Health, yeah.
their health. Trump has obviously got RFK under JFK's nephew, RFK, to lead America back into a healthy state. Is that not a good thing? That there is now an actual program to make America healthy again.
If RFK wasn't a fraud, yeah, I would say it's a good thing he's got him on his team.
But the manifesto is still, and this is why I talk about the government, because yes, okay, the higher ups, the actual leaders of it,
cool.
are
So
serving evil.
what you're telling me, he's going to take down Big Pharma, he's going to take down all the companies that are pumping all the sugar and all the shit and the food and all the killing ingredients. That if you looked at American ingredients versus our ingredients in food, it's a lot worse, bruv.
So that's
we
one
actually
thing
have more. We actually have, our food is probably considered, even the junk food is, at least it's more naturally produced.
Yeah. So they want to change that.
So they want to change that. Yeah. So they're going to change that.
They're going to try. That's what they're going to try. And the thing is, though, ultimately, when it goes down the chain and it eventually comes to the actual American people, you just admitted that the people on the ground at the lower levels would like to believe, at least, that they are actually trying to do good for their people and for their society. When the manifesto comes down, okay, Trump wants to make America healthy. Okay, yeah, that underhanded agenda is still going to go ahead, but when it trickles down...
So I would say to Trump what he said to Kamala, but she was right to say to Kamala, why didn't he do that in his first 4 years?
I guess it wasn't as the priority, but that wasn't one of the bigger things.
American lives isn't the priority? I thought he said American lives were the priority.
And he did bring back all the jobs. He boosted the economy.
But he said American lives were the priority, so why didn't he take it? He could have taken on Big Pharma back then. I'm sure he's well aware. This is not an idiot. This is a very smart, intelligent businessman, entrepreneur. Yeah. All right. Who, like, this guy knows his stuff in terms of money and economy and things like that, all these sort of stuff. So I'm sure this is a guy who knows, all right, granted at times he might twist the truth a little bit. He's a politician in the day. You can't, you can hold it against him, but like at the same time you can't, because that's how they operate. But I'm sure he would have known about these unhealthy factors of the American people. Who didn't? Yeah, because America is probably the most unhealthiest country in the world.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, so that's nothing new to him. I don't understand why did he not aim to do that in his first 4 years? I'm sure he went into that job saying, Big Pharma's bad, food industry's bad, kids and American people their health is at its worst. They're dying. They're relying on too many Big Pharma pills and all that sort of stuff. Let's take these fuckers on.
I can't speak about why he didn't do that in 2016, but for 2024, that is one of the priorities. And as I said, when it does trickle down to from the federal, this is what we want, and then it goes all the way down to the local school, and now the local school is saying, yeah, look, the new president wants a healthy America. We're going to spend an hour doing fitness, and we're going to cut back sugar in the vending machines and stuff. Is that not a good thing? Something that the Democrats weren't even going to do.
That's great. So he got your vote then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to do little things to get your vote.
Little things that are good.
That's great. But he's going to have to do that to get your vote.
Yeah.
That's part of the...
But the Democrats didn't do anything good.
But that's why she lost. If she had done stuff like that, she might have won.
But she didn't.
I'm saying, my point, if she had done that, she would have already touched that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But she didn't do that. She didn't have an agenda. She didn't have a structured agenda of what she was going to do for the country. What has gone wrong in the last 4 years under Biden? I'm not Biden. I was the vice president. I want to be the president now. I didn't agree with Joe Biden on this. I didn't agree with Joe Biden on that. I didn't agree on Joe with this. I love Joe, but I didn't agree with all this blah, 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 blah. However, I believe this is what we should be doing. This is what I'm going to do for the economy. This is how I'm going to make that grocery shopping list of yours cheaper. This is what I'm going to do for your health. This is what we're going to do for this. This is what I'm going to do for... She had none of that.
None of that.
But Trump had all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So there's going to be elements of that, which is part of the manipulation. How do you... If you're controlled opposition, you want to get people on your side, what do? You should know this.
Tell them what they want to hear.
Exactly.
But
it doesn't hide the opposite of that side. That he's not going to kill off Big Pharma, dude.
I'm not saying kill off Big Pharma, but you can't deny that doing a power exercise.
If I'm honest with you, he's saying, right, that in school he's going to do this and and that's great. Outside of school, what's he going to do? He's going to take all these products off the shelf?
But he's raised awareness.
He's
raised awareness.
Are you serious? You're telling me Americans didn't know McDonald's is bad for you? You're telling me Americans don't know sugar is bad for you? You don't telling me Americans, even the dumb hick shit kicking
but now you got their, as you said, these Trumpers that worship him. As soon as Trump says it, then they're a bit more conscious about it.
There's no guarantee of that.
But
people want to eat slobbishly, they're going to eat slobbishly.
And that's their free choice to do that, right?
But the only way he's really going to do that, and he can't do that because he lives in he's in a capitalist democracy, right? So that's what they say, right? The only way he's going to really achieve that is say, right, I'm going to ban sugar.
But he shouldn't do that either. I don't think he should do that because look, as you said, it's a free market.
I don't think it's going to change shit.
But he's raised awareness.
Another thing I would say as well, right? So this guy hasn't taken on Big Pharma at all, right? Okay, and that's something I know that's something close to your heart. Yeah, probably more than mine. Okay, fentanyl crisis. What did he do in the first 4 years? His first first term about that. The opioid crisis in America, which, let's be fair, has started because of the Big Pharma companies. Yeah. Purdue, whatever you call them, with Oxycontin, and now we've got fentanyl, which is the number one killer of narcotics. It's worse than heroin now, right? I just put a clip of it up on our TikTok page. Why has he not done something about that? There's loads of things, yeah? Right? And your point to where he's talking about health just tells me that's just his way, like every politician, to get your vote. Yeah? Is he gonna crack down hard on Big Pharma? No. Yeah? Is he gonna hold them responsible for the opioid crisis in America? No, I don't believe he's going to do that. Yeah, hundreds of thousands are going to keep dying. Maybe even worse, he's going to get to a point where a million if he doesn't fix the economy. Because if more and more people lose their job, is he going to take on BlackRock and Vanguard? And stop them from buying up all the assets and all the delinquent mortgages? Yeah. So now I'm talking about the real world shit. You're talking about what the rest of these fucking normies talk about.
But we could not have another 4 years with. Oh look, it's an illusion, right?
It might be a better 4 years.
It might be just a little bit better. I'm not saying it might be a better 4 years, but what my point is,
my point is, I'm not going to pick a man. I've just highlighted so many things, so many questions.
I hear that.
And these are the things that matter because at the end of the day, we're talking about health and we're talking about the future, but at the same time, he's handing it over. Yeah, he's going to literally put Elon Musk in charge of his tech world, isn't he? We know who Elon Musk is, yeah? Everyone thinks Elon Musk, well, he saved free speech with Twitter. I've seen people get banned on Twitter for saying things. He can't even get criticized on Twitter. If he's that staunch of a free speech advocate, then Elon Musk shouldn't be afraid of being called out on Twitter. X, whatever you want to call it, yeah? So, yeah, I don't buy any of this bullshit. Yeah, it is all bullshit. And it's bullshit from the left, it's bullshit from the right. And in my opinion, it's not going to change. There's two different types of crazy here. They just go about it their own way. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, don't get me wrong, you have your right to think and feel you want to. Think and feel the way you want to about the man.
I want to believe. I'm skeptical.
I'm not getting suckered into it though, man.
I am skeptical, especially when you mention like Elon Musk and stuff. Look, how deep do we go with it? I'm like, space is fake and all of that stuff. So I don't support Trump.
And the other thing is, do you know the other things I'm gonna say is this could be a funny one, yeah? Because you being a real flat earther,
yeah.
Expose that shit, Mr. President. I'm sure he knows the truth.
Yeah, for sure. And this is why I don't.
When he got asked by was it Logan Paul on his podcast? He went on their podcast, didn't he? He's smart, Trump. He knows what he's doing. He went to the young men and got on their level, got gangsters through them a little bit, and everyone watched that. All the young kids would watch it. He's not stupid. And those young men who watched it were like, yeah, Trumpy. Yeah, we're going to vote for this guy. All right. He's not stupid, right? But you look at it, like I just touched on. Listen, all right, Treble is a hardcore flat earther, right? 100% believes in it. Yeah, I don't really waste my time with it all. To me, it's not important. What we're talking about right now is more important. I get it. It's important too, but I'm going to use this as an example. Yeah, all right, okay. But remember, why not tell us the truth about Antarctica?
Yeah.
Whether you think it's a globe world or a flat world, whatever it is,
some crazy shit.
Tell us crazy. We know there's crazy shit going on in Antarctica. Come on, Trumpy, tell us the people. What's the truth?
Yeah,
You ain't gonna do that.
nah.
You ain't gonna do it.
But this is why
I guarantee you. I guarantee you, in those 4 years, you ain't gonna release those JFK files.
Nah, probably not. But if he does, would you go back on your word right now?
I'll go back on that point.
Yeah. All right.
No, I won't on that point of JFK files.
Yeah.
I'll give him that, but he's still not gonna have my vote.
Yeah. We'll have to see how the next 4 years go.
I don't trust any of
crunch
them.
time in terms of the
He will say like,
2030
they all got to do
isn't
that.
it?
They all got to tell you things that's going to get your vote. Yeah, they're gonna. The key to success in the political world is the art of manipulation.
However, and I agree.
You have to be the ultimate talker and the ultimate manipulator.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did Obama get a second term? He didn't do nothing great.
Nah.
But he got a second term.
Look, I see where you're coming from, and I do agree. And my chips aren't fully in, but at the same time, I do want to be optimistic because otherwise, it is just doom and gloom, isn't it? And the reality is, if the
problem is,
won,
you know, when we talked about
it'd be living hell.
You know, when we talked about Black Lives Matter, and I know you still got to put that episode up, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And we talked about Black. We touched on it. We didn't go deep on it. Like it's just a random podcast, random conversation that came out and went deep in the end, right? All right. Okay. But like, where we said that problem with black people is that they keep expecting someone to come and save them, and they keep relying on the people that they're accusing of persecuting them and oppressing them to be the ones that save them, which are the politicians. Same with everyone else when it comes to this topic here is that we the people are expecting someone to come along and save us, right? That's why Trump's won this, because everyone's like, he'll save us. But then once the 4 years over, someone else gets in charge and it goes backwards, and then someone else 4 years later after that, and then it goes another way, and then someone else for 4 years goes another way, and it goes up, down, merry-go-round. Oh, it was better under this person. It was the Tories have been successfully not successfully running them, but successfully winning the elections for years until recently, right? From Cameron to whoever, May, Cameron, whoever it is going on, right? 12 years?
12 years, yeah. It's a long time,
12, long time, yeah, right? Blair was the same back in the day, right? Okay. And then everyone was criticizing, what the Tories were doing, and then they all went and voted Labour because, Labour will do a better job because Labour promised all these things, and now Labour's in charge, look what's happened. So...
Well, I could have told people Labour was never going to fix it. And even
any side's going to fix it. Whoever won it had to make it worse. I still think even if the Tories won, they would have made it worse anyway.
They would have at least focused on keeping the economy in a better shape because of the rich that they have to satisfy.
Only because...
And the economy ultimately dictates the way of the world goes.
I feel like Labour has Labour's
fucked us all. They pulled our pants down.
I think Labour has very much, in a sense, from like where you're talking about in terms of appeasing the rich and stuff. I mean, like when she was, the Chancellor was on at one of their rallies or whatever they call them, the conferences, Labour conferences, and someone stood up, a young man stood up, and challenged her and started shouting out and heckling out things to her. And she turned around and said, this is not the old Labour Party, this is the new Labour Party. I think they're very much with that mindset, we need to make sure we keep the rich happy.
You reckon?
Yeah. Look at the taxes, £40 billion more coming out of our pocket, you and me, the average person. I don't think it's going to affect those rich motherfuckers as much as everyone thinks it does. But I mean, you look at Labour now, and you go back all the way to like Neil Kinnock. Like it's not a party for the working people anymore.
No, it's never been, actually. I don't think. It's an illusion as well, isn't it?
It is, but what I'm saying is that's how they sell it, right?
Yeah.
They sell it. They're the working people's party, and they're not.
They just tax us more.
Look at what they've done now, yeah. So and she turned and said, "This is the new Labour Party." So what does that indicate to you?
Yeah.
They're no longer the work, even though they say, "Oh, we're still the working party for the." No, you're not. We know you're not. So, but yeah. Anything else you want to add, dude?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
It's
see how the years go by.
It's been a good healthy conversation. We do like it.
As you said, like it'd be cool to debate with a liberal one day. But likewise, I think it'd be interesting to have you go with a proper MAGA dude who knows his shit, but lived in America for a bit, proper into it, actually watches the rallies nonstop. Because I'm just here looking at it on a more surface level, as as we've already established. I'm pretty.
So am I though.
I'm pretty, deep into conspiracy, so I'm very. Remember, I do see it from a bigger picture, but I do want to believe.
Even if you got your matey boy in front of me right now, he's not going to convince me the Zionists aren't backing that man and funding that man.
But it'll be a more interesting conversation because he can at least.
But he could turn around and say that and say, "But that's still my point. You're not going to convince me. This man's great. He's not."
I would like to hear that conversation. Actually, I think it'd be very.
And that's what I was thinking about as well. It's going to be very similar to what you mean. You could throw a whole bunch of facts at me that Trump is great, and I'm just going to throw that one point back to you and say, no, he's not.
I'd like to hear that. I'd like to see the rebuttal. Because
and the man who promoted the jab hard as well, let's be honest with you, he was quite, and he had a part to play in developing that. So lockdowns and all that sort of stuff that took place, he played his part.
I agree. In this moment, that's the whole.
You're talking to, you're not talking.
Flat Earth.
The thing is, like, he was. Someone like that would smash pieces out of a normie. Like, if you were sitting in front of, if I went with you that night and I just sat there and watched you and your mate at it, I'd be like, yeah, you lot are winning these arguments because you're going up against normies.
Yeah.
But you sit in a room with me and I'm gonna say, hold up, wait a minute. And then a Dre beat kicks in, not the Dre beat kicks in. No. No, there's these points. And that's the bit that. Like, I get it. I get why people voted for Trump. I get why. It's not that I don't understand that.
I just think the left needs a break. We need a break from that mindset.
No, I think what it's made people realise is, like, I know it's got nothing to do necessarily with left supporters. I think it's more to do with the political leaders, and just Biden was a fucking idiot. Yeah, like he was.
But and the people who support
he's
that?
not even cognitive. Yeah, but
are they not fucking?
But that's dumb as well. Like, yeah, I get what you say. We say it all the time. Like, I voted for Kamala because I hate Trump. That was ultimately the reason. That just tells me that you're a complete idiot. But then I'm pretty sure in the past we've probably seen it where Republicans haven't voted for fucking a certain Democratic leader because I don't like the guy. I'm sure there's probably loads on that side. I might have even turned and said, yo, we know he's mixed race, but they pictured him as a black man. I ain't voting for a black man in charge. I want a white man in charge. Why are we giving over our country? I'm sure there was mindsets like that as well. And that's not a really good reason. It's more based on what can you deliver for me, Mr. President, Mr. So-called wannabe president.
Should be, yeah. Well, that was the reason. I should have put that, like, bet so much more money on Trump winning because I knew that they would never allow a woman president. When we talk about the secret societies and the bigger picture of it all, they would never allow a woman president. Should put so much more money on Trump.
Like, I don't know. Like, yeah. I don't know.
It's a brotherhood, isn't it? As you said, like, who's controlling it?
No, and that's the thing. Like, when you look at, like I said to you, when you look in the elites, come on, man. When do we ever hear about women in that? We talk about Jacob Rothschild, who's now gone and dead and buried, thank God. But obviously he's got his siblings or whatever, and all that.
Yeah, the plan still goes.
The family's still there, right? They carry on, don't they? And then you look at you look at those
the papacy
groups.
It's the
men,
church, and
it's the men who have the power. You know, and like, you know what makes me laugh though about it while we're on that? It's like when women say, yeah, see, because men are in charge. I'm like, are you serious? You women are so catty. Yeah, that if a female political leader over here says something bad about a female political leader over here, you'd be like, bomb her. At least we use our brain. Like, we just cuss them out, or we'll just have a little back and forth in words. We won't go as far as like, let's go and go to war with that guy. Yeah, and that's what makes me laugh. Is like, you look at Hillary Clinton, warmonger of the most. Like, would you agree? Yeah. Female leader. You look at Thatcher back in the day. She went straight for war with the Falklands to create a distraction of what was going on in the UK at the time and people's unhappiness with her leadership.
Did Theresa May go to war?
I think we were already at war in the Middle East at the time.
Why are we always at war?
And that's why with Trump, like where a lot of people say, oh, he's the only president who's never been to war, hasn't started a war. I'm like, there was no war for him to start. It was already done. The question was he going to pull anyone out? was he going to pull Americans out of any wars? And he didn't. And and this is where the lack of training comes from. Remember, I just touched on about lack of training. He's not had that political training. Is the word I would use now. When he got asked about Syria, and he was like, I want to keep control of the oil. But in actual fact, it probably wasn't the right thing to say. Was if that was Obama or something, they would say, do you get what I mean? That's where the lack of political training, and people, you could probably, some people probably look at it and go, oh, I respect him for that, because at least he was honest with that. And it's true, but I think it's just because he's not had that political level of training.
I think that's what he makes.
And that's what I'm saying, that sells him as well at the same time. Do you get it? But he's not stopped any wars. He didn't really stop anything in Afghanistan. Yeah, it was embarrassing the way freaking Biden did it. Like just within 24 hours or whatever it was, poof, get out, leave them to their own devices now. Yeah, but we'll see in it. We'll see now, like Putin's now a little bit saying that, oh yeah, okay, cool, we'll talk to America. But the problem is you could talk to America, but the UK's not going to. And this is where I feel there's going to be a problem.
Well, yeah, that is the problem. Why do we always have?
But those Starmer. Well, you've heard about this whole thing about Starmer, right?
What's he done?
What Trump said about Starmer?
About back in the day or just recently?
Have you not heard recently?
No, what's he said?
So basically, apparently, the Labour Party were somehow trying to supporting the Kamala campaign.
Yeah, during the election. Yeah, they were. They were anti-Trump.
Yeah. So he's basically turned around and said that he's going to go to political war with Starmer now. And then Starmer's like, oh, congratulations to President.
Yeah, I saw that.
All that shit. So it feels like he's shitting himself a little bit as well.
Spoke on the phone for a few hours.
But for a man who's promised $3 billion a year of our taxpayers' money to Ukraine, and there's other agendas, the EU and stuff like that, I'm wondering whether now with is Trump really going to turn around and say, actually, we're pulling out, we're taking all our money back, or we're not going to give you any more of our money. You're on your own. Putin, let's just get to a table and sit down and sort this out. Whether they will be saying to them then saying, no, you need to keep going. And is there going to be a political problem in the West now with the biggest, most powerful country and the rest of the little... Well,
it's interesting because obviously if Trump did say we're going to stop funding Ukraine, I think that's a good thing, especially when, $750 to the victims of the hurricane, but you're sending billions over to Ukraine. What Trump's doing is America first, if it actually comes to fruition. But I think that's a very good stance for your country's leader. But something that I imagine if the UK did that. And then secondly, when it comes to the US-UK alliance, we can't deny that there is a deeper history between them. And even Trump has connection to the UK. His mum's Scottish, I believe, and he's got a big resort up in Scotland. So he wants to see our economy prosper as well, because it also benefits him. And he's not shy about saying that making the UK rich makes me rich. And I think that's a good thing for us.
That's great. You've seen it from a normal's point of view, right? Okay, I'm going to see it from the conspiratorial point of view, which is, more chaos, more confusion. If we can now get divisions within the West, we cause more of a crazy situation.
You think that's the goal for Trump? Or the people that control Trump?
I think that's the goal for the ant farm keepers. Meaning the elites.
Yeah. What the fucking... Yeah, that's fucked. It will be interesting to see. I think... It
will be interesting to see what happens over the 4 years. But I think, look, listen, right, okay, if anything that... on a positive spin, if anything, I think the next 4 years, things could be delayed. I don't think they will necessarily be stopped.
But a delay is still good because it allows time for people to go through their awakening phase. It allows time for messages to be spread. What are we doing right here? We're hoping that people would eventually hear it and maybe open their minds to it. If more people are doing this and more people are having this conversation with a delayed agenda.
Problem is when you believe in an ideology very, very strongly, you will defend, this already, you will defend it to death. So, have more people probably woken up since COVID? Yeah, I think so. But are there a lot of people still asleep at the wheel? When you just talked about them,
so many of them.
When you talk about my body, my choice, clearly they're out there still. I mean, I still see people walking around with masks on their face. Like, for what?
For a young person to tell me they got 4 jabs and they get a flu jab every year as well doesn't make sense to me. Why? where are you getting your information from that is so one-sided that you feel that we should all be doing that as well, or have our freedoms taken away? So when you talk about ideologies, I think at least the right, as a base level, want freedom, and whereas the left wants to censor us and wants to take freedom away from us. So yeah, I support that side more. But I agree, the political leaders ultimately are puppeteered by the elites.
Yeah, it's just like I said to you, that's why I'm not sold on it. This is why
it's just division, and it is just trying to control us.
This is where I know you were celebrating and everything like that. I was like, what are you celebrating? They're just like, that's it. I was like, what are you celebrating?
The reason I'm celebrating,
like you got your right to celebrate. That's what you wanted, and you got it. Cool, I get it. But at the same time, like, you can't expect someone like me.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me, not a normie. I'm talking about me, to sit there and go, yeah, you're right. That's not going to happen.
No, but the reason to celebrate, and you should be celebrating too, is because, as I said, the ideologies of both, okay, they're both crazy in their own respect, but one is supporting freedom and the other is supporting censorship. One is supporting democracy and the other is pushing an agenda that is trying to create a godless world. So you talk about building that one relationship with God and God only, but the left is trying to create a godless world.
I don't know.
And a win from the right is at least in the right direction.
I wonder if we'll wait and see if that's all true.
But that is true at the moment. The left don't want God in there. They want to create a more secular.
I'm talking about God. I'm talking about the other things you're talking about. I know that we know because lefties, a lot of them are atheists probably anyway, yeah.
But this is what I'm trying to say. So a win for the right is a win for God, in my opinion. Why is it not? If 60 million people voted for somebody who worships God...
Because the right are funded by people who worship the devil.
Both sides are funded by the people who worship the devil, but not everybody who voted worships the devil.
So don't sit and say that's not God, because that I'm going to take personally, because I believe in God.
Yeah,
and I pray,
and
I'm on my knees praying every morning.
I hear that, but you can't deny that the people who voted for Trump are leaning more towards...
No.
That's a very naive thing to believe.
That political party you're talking about, you saying that party is for God. No, it's not. The people who voted for it,
the people who voted
for God.
Yeah,
but you don't know
so
how many.
But
you don't know how many lefties are. That's wrong as well. You don't know how many. You're telling me the black community, right? Yeah, we see a lot of shit on social media. But I guarantee if you went and walked and talked to a lot of black people in America, I guarantee you a lot of them have faith in God. And I guarantee a lot of those people on the left also have faith in God as well. You can't just go by what we see on the thing. We have to...
Trump got more black votes, I think, as well. And the Hispanic votes.
He got more of the black male votes.
Yeah.
But to say that there's not a lot of those black women who voted against him who don't believe in God. I think that's a little bit...
I'm not saying that they don't believe in God, but you can't deny that.
I think that's a little bit...
But if 65 million people voted for Trump and say 55 million people voted for Democrats, you can't deny that the majority... God's looking at this conversation like...
I'm pretty sure if God was sitting in this room right now, he'd be like, yo, they're both funded by the devil. What's wrong with you?
But
what are you debating here right now?
The people who vote may be misinformed, obviously, but... You can't deny that they might have good intentions.
But you don't know that. But you don't know that. You've got no statistical facts to back that either.
But based on the conversations that I've had with people, based on videos I've seen on social media.
That's great. That's based on how many multi-millions is that? How many millions of that out of the 329 million in America were those conversations? Or did you speak with Brits?
There was a few Americans there.
Okay. But that's not representation. That's like saying... So basically what you're saying, that one or two American representation is a representation of every lefty out there. There's some lefties out there who are just normal and sane-headed, that aren't crazy. They're just like, oh, I believe that this side is the side that needs to win because I can't have that man in charge, right? Because X, Y, Z. But he's not crazy. You hear some of them, something like that. Some of them have some actual sane mind. A lot of them have sane minds, and I've seen them do it, yeah? Just like the right, there's a lot of people in the right, sane minds, that have their concerns around it, yeah? Okay, and they're not nutties or anything like barking dogs and all that, yeah? Let's not get caught up with too much of what we see in there, because remember, we've always said this before, that the LGBTQ community, yeah, to say every single one of them is like that is no, right? Because, right, there's probably a lot more. There's so many gay people now coming out saying that we are disassociating ourselves from that now because you've taken that, what we we've built and the acceptance we've built throughout society, and you're turning it into this perverse thing now. A small group of you are turning it into a perverse thing. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So I don't think we can say safely.
Yeah.
Can't say it's a representation of. We can't say it hand on heart. We can't. I can't say it. I can't sit here and agree with you on that one.
Okay,
That's your opinion. And if
all right, let me give you straight up.
That's your opinion, and if that's what you believe, that's what you believe.
Have you seen the Chinese guy who went to the rallies?
No.
So there's a Chinese guy who went to both rallies neutral, because obviously Chinese can't vote anyways, but he just wanted to see it's like big election. Let's go. As you said, it's free to go. So he went to a Republican and he went to a Democrat rally, and it's a 10-minute video, so he explains a bit. But one thing that he said that the Republicans did that the Democrats didn't was the Pledge of Allegiance. And what he found was the Republicans were very supportive of their freedoms and that, the United States is the best, and that, worshiping God and stuff like that's part of their belief. Whereas the left, should I say, never mentioned any of that. And he goes on to say that most of it was just about, we need to stop the right. But the Pledge of Allegiance was a big one, because obviously that's really like, we believe in God and we're here as free men.
Pledge of Allegiance has nothing to do with God.
Does it not?
No, it doesn't. What's that got to do with God and religion?
What's the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge of Allegiance, you're pledging your allegiance to the country.
Yeah, that's
to
crazy,
the flag.
isn't it?
It's nothing to do with God. They put God in there, the term. They use God in the pledge, I think, as well, when I've heard it in movies and stuff like that. But what has that got to do with anything with your flag? God don't give a shit about your flag. He don't care about your colour.
In God we trust, whereas the Democrats never mentioned it.
Yeah, okay. But that's got nothing to do with the Pledge of Allegiance. It's got nothing there. So,
all right, maybe not the Pledge of Allegiance, but my point was the right.
You might want to put it this way, right? If you're going to use that argument, okay? Right, just to help you out, is one side is very traditional in the sense of what they want to continue to see traditional patriarchy, or what you want to call the patriotic viewpoints and the running of a country. Not patriarchy, I used the wrong word there.
Patriot.
Yeah.
Patriotic.
Yeah, patriotic viewpoints. And then you've got another side that wants to see a new version of America. Which is essentially what you want to see, which you're seeing on the left, right? So you get what I mean? So you got one on the left where they've got this vision of a new America, of get rid of the patriarchy, like, even though you need men for everything, let's be honest, because no woman's going to go pump out the waste sewage system like men are, right? Or build construction sites. There might be one or two women floating around, but they're not going to be majority of them, because they don't want to do that heavy lifting. They want to work in HR and paint their nails, right? Let's be real.
You're sounding like a conservative.
But it's true though. No, I'm talking about gender. Yeah, like you can. But I've always stood by that. You know that.
I know. That's why.
But I also know naturally. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, we're talking about leaders." Yeah? I'm not talking about. Like, this was about Trump. I don't trust the guy. I'm not going to trust the guy.
I hear that. But I'm talking about.
I don't care what he brings. I don't brings it.
Stand the left sometimes.
I can't bring it. Don't get me wrong, they drive me up the wall as well. But then sometimes I listen to them. I'm like, oh man, you lot are just fucking nuts as well. Sometimes just leave me. You're a different type of crazy. I was watching it the other day and I was seeing these two sides. I thought, you're fucking all nuts. You're all fucking nut jobs. You're all crazy on your own side in your own weird way. You're all a bunch of nut jobs.
The left are weirder though.
Do you know what I mean? All right. And I would say the left, the way I would describe it is the left are weirder with their craziness.
Oh, that's ultimately what I was getting at.
But you weren't wording like that. And you got to remember what I'm saying.
But I don't want to say anything that's offensive.
And I think, shut up. We said loads of things offensive on this podcast. But ultimately, I think the way I could put it is they're weirder with their craziness, but they're a bit more normal. Like the Republicans are probably a little bit, or the right, if you want to call them, are probably a little bit more normal with their crazy. And I understand that crazy better than this crazy over here. But that doesn't mean,
how long for you to finally conclude that?
No. But I don't understand this crazy over there. I understand this crazy because I was brought up with this crazy on this side. I've seen it all my life. This is a new kind of crazy that's happening on this side, which I don't really get. Yeah,
because it's crazy.
But my point was that they're both as crazy as each other, just in their own way. That was my argument.
And my argument was that the left are weirder.
Remember what I said they're different.
They got a weirder crazy.
They're different. It doesn't. Yeah, but you could say it's weirder, but it's because it's not the traditional type of crazy. So therefore, that's what I was saying to you. They're two types of crazy. They just do it in their own way. You can measure it how you want it, but you're always going to look at it from a biased point of view.
But you admit that the left are weirder about it.
And look at what you just did there. Your bias came out. How long did it take? But I haven't admitted to anything. What I said to you,
You said it's weirder.
No. I said they're weirder, and this is more traditional crazy. But they're still crazy each other.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure most people probably would. But the point of this whole conversation is that you're never going to get me to say, yeah, Trump, yeah, Kamala, yeah, Starmer,
fair enough. I
it's
agree.
Never gonna happen.
No.
Because I know too much. All right, of being a conspiracy researcher, I know far too much of how this game works. Yeah, all right. I am the British Indian David Icke.
That's a bold claim. Let's go.
Hey, bro, I've made some predictions in the last 15 years, and now my friends are turning around and telling me, shit, Cypher, you were right about that. Shit, I saw this on YouTube. You were right about that. You said that 5 years ago. Shit, you said that 12 years ago. Shit, you said that 15 years ago. Shit. Now they're waking up and like, fuck. But 15 years ago, they still my close friends now. Like, we all have our viewpoints. We respect each other, yeah? But they probably thought I was a bit nuts back then as well.
Yeah, I could say the same for me.
One of them thought I was nuts.
Fucking
One of them thought I was nuts. The other one was like, I'm not saying you're nuts, but like, what can we do about it? That mindset. Like, just plong along and carry on my life. And now we're here and like, oh shit, maybe I should have done something about it because I've got kids now. Right? So it's that element, man. But anyway, we could go on about this forever, man.
All right, so in conclusion, I want to believe that Trump can.
You're hopeful.
I'm hopeful because I think
for a brighter future.
We have to be optimistic to an extent because otherwise negativity is what they feed off, ultimately. However, as a conspiracy researcher in my own ways as well, I do see the bigger picture of, obviously we've already touched on the flat earth, so space is fake, and obviously he's teaming up with Elon Musk, and he's not going to talk about Antarctica, and he's obviously not going to open up the JFK files, and what's he know about aliens that he's not going to tell us about, and all the bigger stuff that the agenda is still going to keep going. And I get that. And I see that they have a vision, and ultimately the world political system is working as it's meant to be. The division has been created between left and right, divide and conquer. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Breads and circuses, Roman times. We're still seeing it today. I get that. But I do want to be hopeful because
I'm going to leave it at where I started at. Evil doesn't beget evil. And I'm sorry, I can't support Trump because I know who he's funded by. Yeah. If he was full-blown independent of anything and everything, and it was just him, and he was actually really, and he would shut down and go after everything like I've. So if I was a voter in America, right, and I'm a voter here, right, so it doesn't really matter, yeah. If he came out and said, we're going to go after these child traffickers, human traffickers, we're going to. Yeah, okay, we're going to put limitations on the border. We're going to control it. But you know what? I think it's about time we went after the cartels as well. Enough's enough. They're pumping in fentanyl and opioids cheaply made, which they buy from China and stuff like that. We're going to stop all that shit. We're going to go after Big Pharma because they caused that problem. We're going to deal with them. Yeah, we're going to clean up the streets. We're going to end homelessness like Gaddafi did in Libya. Yeah? The people of America are going to be richer for it. Do you know what I mean? We're going to knock down. Do you get what I'm getting at? Yeah. If he starts saying I'm going to nail all these things, don't worry, I'm going to get it sorted. Because remember, this is his last time. He's not going to get another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really put some things in place that are going to change the world for a better place. Great. Yeah. But if you're just convincing me with little things just to manipulate me,
this is why
underneath the surface we're going to end it here, man. So don't even jump in again. Yeah. This is my conclusion. While underneath, you're still going to bring to light and life those things that I've already touched on so many times in this podcast episode. Sorry, dude, I can't support that. I can't, man. Because then for me, yeah, remember, I am a very strong faith in God. That means I'm turning my back on God, in my opinion. I can't do that. Cannot do it.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah, but good episode. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe. Listen, the algorithm does not work in our favor.
It doesn't like
here
us,
on
man.
YouTube. Yeah, or to be fair, and obviously it's probably a little bit harder to grow on Spotify and Rumble and places like that. But we're trying to grow here on YouTube. So if you are listening, even the one or two of you that cut in, just listen to the whole episode, kick back while you're working out or whatever it is. Yeah. And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe, hit the notification bell, but more importantly, share the content. Yeah. Even if you're sending it to Treble's mates on the left and it riles
Mates
them
on
up.
the left.
Hey man, we just want we want people to get involved and have a conversation. You know, ideally, you know, if you give us your points of view,
Yeah,
so
give
we
some
can
topics as well.
we can react to comments.
Yeah.
But not only that, you know what I mean. Give us links to anything you want us to check out too. Yeah. All right. As always, like, share, subscribe. I'm Cypher,
I'm Treble.
and we out.
Crazy.